have to be like careful about. Yes. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. I'm your host Shrishti, and I welcome you all to the 10th episode of Talk Without Constraint. It's a series wherein the guest speaker will be sharing their first period experience and will also engage in a conversation around menstruation. So let's begin by outlining our organization. Sarkari School is an initiative by We Citizens Foundation that promote high standards of education for students attending public schools. We, as a group, strive to raise awareness of Indian government schools and to promote a positive narrative around them. Many of our significant projects really assist and support students from underprivileged backgrounds. One of our very important projects is Project Vedana, which aims towards creating awareness campaigns to reduce school absenteeism, dropouts in girls during their menstrual cycle in rural areas especially. We involve active youth involvement and create conversation around normalizing the taboos and stereotypes around periods. So far, Project Vedna has led a large scale initiative on reducing the absenteeism of girl children due to menstruation by conducting various workshops in government schools and engaging with young and driven people across different states. Today, we will be hosting our special guest, Ms Riya Pawar, and I have a great pleasure to invite her to the 10th episode of Talk Without Constraints. She is a student of Fergusson College, Pune, and her future goals include working towards sustainable development goals attainment. So, Ria, I actually
Yeah,
request you to tell us a little about what do you exactly want to, how do you want to contribute towards the sustainable development goals attainment? What is your plan?
yeah. So, first of all, thank you very much for the warm welcome. And yeah, sustainable goals is something which I'm very passionate about. Like, right from the time I learned about it, we participated in the conference even, yeah, together. So, yeah, my goal is to basically follow Kate Roberts' model of the donut economy, wherein we don't aim for too high GDP, but also we are not putting the society at a risk of disparities. So there should be an equitable distribution of resources and stuff. And yeah, I think economy and environment both should go hand in hand. So that is how I plan to work towards sustainable development in future.
Oh, that's really great, and I'm really impressed about how you have expressed and your involvement and your ambition towards sustainable development goals. So, okay, so let's come back to our session today. So, since this is all about like menstruation, and we'll be asking you questions about your experiences. So, here comes your first question. So, when you
Okay.
had your first periods, were you aware about them?
Yeah, I actually was. So, in our school, we had this thing where, there was, an awareness lecture for all the girls from fifth class. So, I had it in my fifth class. So, I was pretty aware. I did not know what exactly period was, but I knew that I'm going to get something like this around in 2 or 3 years. So, yeah.
Oh, so I think your first experience, because this awareness, pre-awareness actually makes a big difference about the experience of the first menstrual cycle of a girl. So I'm sure since you were already aware of periods, then I think, were you traumatized? Were you scared? Or were you just normal and calm? Or what was your like emotional that outbreak at that point of time?
So, my emotional immediate reaction was like, how can I get my period so early? And
Oh,
I remember I was I got my period at that time, but I was like, no, I think it's something else. So then my mother told me that, yeah, I think you have got your periods. So yeah, then I was like, okay, I think I've really got my periods now. But the thing is that when the lecture was conducted, I was not aware. Like, we were not told that you literally bleed during your periods. They just were saying it in a very scientific fashion. So you don't really exactly get what it is. when like lectures like these are conducted, so like they don't talk very openly, they like keep it very like science focused. So like I think that is something which should be changed a lot
Yeah, actually,
in.
because see this, the thing is you had the lecture, right? You were trying
Hmm.
to make aware about periods, but still you didn't know what exactly was that. Would that exactly leads to bleeding or something else? So this is the problem. Even if they want to
Hmm.
aware the girl child, they want to do it discreetly. I don't know what is the problem. They always want to hide the red color. They have some problem with the red color. Wherever you see, in even in
Exactly.
the like sanitary napkins, while जो advertisements are there on the TVs or internet, they always try to show the like stained napkins with blue color. They have some problem with the red color. They always try to hide this. So this is the problem, and this has to be like, what is the point of even trying to aware the girls if you're not telling them exactly you are going to bleed or something else has to come out of your body? That is the reason. So
Exactly. Yeah.
okay, so Ria, let's ask you now about the like uh, atmosphere at your home place. Like, how are the people at your home like comfortable, or they're hesitant towards discussing about menstruation? Something, just please tell us.
Yeah, okay. So like basically the environment at my home is very friendly and like very nice. Like we don't have to like, segregate ourselves or like sit in isolation during our periods. So like that is something which is really nice, I think, because like I've seen it in even in cities or towns. Like basically I belong to a like semi-urban kind of a place. So like I've even seen in cities like how could you follow these things still? But I've seen like my friends sitting in isolation during the period. They are not allowed to touch anything, they are not allowed to sit even on the mattresses. So yeah, but like the atmosphere at my home particularly is like very free. We also like talk about it out loud. Like my mother has never made us feel that you should not talk about your periods. So basically the story is very interesting. When my mother got her periods, her mother, basically my nanny, so like she used to be very strict about these things. So like my mother took an initiative and she decided to change it for her house and her family. And yeah, so like basically she helped us out with these things.
Oh, that's wonderful, because at this point of time, like the girls from like you or me, I can still imagine ki, okay, we are at this position where we can take an initiative, we can try to bring the changes in our families. But your mother has done that, so that's actually very, very incredible. That's really good.
Yeah,
And see the difference. Even if you belong to a like semi-urban area, there also in your family it is like a healthy environment when it comes to menstruation. And the that's a very important point that you have made ki even in the cities, like the proper big cities. See, I belong to Lucknow, huh? I have also lived in Delhi. So there also in most of the prominent families, still period is considered a taboo. People are not ready to discuss about it. Girls are always isolated from different activities, from touching different types of edible things, and you must be aware about the myths and stereotypes
yeah.
which are being
Like
followed. So
even in our school, I like had conversation with my friends around this, no? So like they told me that they were not allowed to eat pickle or imli during their periods. So they were trying to cover it up, basically saying that yes, it has some health impacts or stuff, but basically their families did not allow them to like have certain things during their periods. So yeah.
yeah, because I have heard. See, my nanny still follows all these types of myths and stereotypical things. So there we are not. You're talking about eating it. We are not even allowed to touch it. Like even if we touch the pickle, it becomes impure. It will get spoiled because girls are considered impure when they are bleeding at that point of time. So they're not allowed to sit and worship. They're not allowed to touch the mandir place. They're not allowed to touch the sacred things, and even edible things like pickles. And also, are you like aware about all the most prominent stereotypes or myths which are like existing in our society right now? You must have
Yeah, one
encountered
of
some
the
of them.
most problematic one which I think is like period stains. Like what
Mhm.
problem do you have with like having a period stain, and like why do you constantly try to cover it up, be conscious about it, like So that stereotype is something which basically like really hits me. And apart from that, having conversation with boys particularly about
Mhm.
menstruation. So like
Yeah, I was
most of
coming to
us
this
are like
question.
straight. Okay,
Okay, okay,
okay, yeah.
please continue, please continue. I just told you that I was coming to this question ki how is the atmosphere at your place when it comes to discussing menstruation among boys, your brothers, maybe your father, or any other male member of your family? So what is the
Yeah.
scenario there?
Okay, so like the thing is, when I got the list of questions, for this session, so that is the time when I read about this question, and I was like, why have I never thought about it? Like, I have never thought about having a conversation with maybe my father or my brother or like any of the male friends I have. Like, the thing is, we never even think about it. Like, it is menstruation is something which is like really kept close to women's, and like we don't even think about approaching boys or men about this. So like this is a very stereotypical thing, I think so, because like having your periods is like as normal as breathing. So that is something which is basically calling our attention, and something which needs to like change first of all. So like I told you that I am very like free about talking about my periods and stuff, but this thing never even crossed my mind even once that I should also like start to have conversations with these like boys. So yeah, that is like how ignorant we are all about these things.
Yeah, sure. Because this is something Project Vedna is basically focused upon, like dismantling all the stereotypes and just finishing the period hesitation. So if somebody has to end period hesitation, like, and if it has to be made normal, so the first and foremost tone for that is the boys also have to be involved in that. Boys also have to be made aware, and being educated about
Definitely.
this is actually very, very important. So this is all that we focus right now through this project. So next question to you is, okay, so how do you want to talk about the infrastructure at your school? Was it period friendly? What was it like incorporating the girls' needs, menstruating girls' needs, your school or college, any other institution that you
Yeah.
went?
So yeah, in college, like my college is a pretty famous college here. I mean, it's a good college. So like there are good deal of infrastructural facilities. There is a period machine, pad machine in our washrooms and stuff. But yeah, as for the schools are concerned, so like the thing is, there are facilities available in school. They do provide sanitary napkins and stuff, but it is done so secretively in schools that I was not even aware that my school provides pads and stuff. So like whenever I had an emergency in school, basically I approached my friends or my seniors or my friends from other class. But like I never really like never it never crossed our mind that like there can be something like this in school also. So yeah, so I think that even if you're providing these facilities, it should be made more public, and like it should be more talked about. Like if you're keeping all of the menstrual hygiene products in your school and stuff, but still the girls don't even know about it because it is kept in a locker that is far off in some staff room. So like how are you planning to like properly how are you planning that it should benefit the girls, like if you're doing something like this? So like I think that this help which is provided, it is a very good initiative to keep pads and menstrual stuff in school. But like I think it should be kept, more openly. It should not be like in some corner of school where girls will not be able to find it.
Yeah, because this is something. I was coming to the next question, which actually involves about period shame. So you have already
Yeah.
given a very big example about period shame. Ki the products which are like the very very necessities of a menstruating girl are actually locked inside lockers. I don't know why it's a big treasure or something. Somebody will come and steal it. I think that is the problem. That's why they
Yeah.
lock it up so discreetly. So yeah, what is the problem in actually? Don't you think? See, the government is actually. You must have heard the government actually plans and is also implementing pad vending machines at various places. Like especially in some semi-urban or rural areas where the the poor women who don't have access to pads can actually get cheap price pads, and they can actually use it for. So I think schools must also have such vending machines. In like we have, see,
Yeah.
we have toilets, we have water coolers, everything which are actually needed for all the students, right? So what is the problem in having a pad vending machine in schools also? Right? Everyone can have it, and it will become actually very, very accessible to a lot of girls. And see, I will tell you one thing. Once I was in school, I got my periods when I was in class 6th, actually. So at that point of time I got it,
Okay.
and I saw, I think she was my junior, and girls actually in books we read ki the age for beginning of menstrual cycle is by 13 or something. But you can see,
Hmm.
like, I got my periods at the age of 11 and half. You also must have been that age when you got your first periods. But when I was in school, I saw my junior. She was just 9 years old and she got her periods. So this can also happen. So that
Hmm.
baby was like, actually she thought that something has happened to her. Of course, that she wasn't aware about it, and she saw that just blood all around her skirt, and it was a stain, and everybody was actually making fun of her. She was just crying, and I still see she wasn't aware about it, where to go, what to do. And I saw three women actually. Uh, two were teachers, and one was the worker helper there. They actually just put held the girl like this, and they actually carried her इतना चुपके से कि something, मतलब they were more than the girl. These three women were traumatized कि अगर आसपास के लोगों ने देख लिया तो कितनी गलत बात हो जाएगी, कितनी शर्म वाली बात है, and the boys must not see this, and nobody should be aware about this. Okay, she's bleeding. This is the kind of mentality which actually the teachers have. You forget about the normal people, the common people which are there at our homes. So okay,
Yeah.
so please say.
Even during, like, we when we have like functions at school, and like, we have to wear whites. So like all of
Yeah.
the teachers used to like specifically like assemble all the girls and tell them that you be careful, if you, in case you get stains and stuff on your uniform or your dresses. So yeah, that is something also which I like found very weird, because like, what is the problem with stains?
Yeah, actually, I am very messy when it comes to it, because a lot of times you get your periods while sleeping. This happens to me all the time. I don't know what is wrong with me. My period cycle comes at 3 o'clock in the night. So, of course, at that point of time, I'm sleeping. I'm not aware about it. When I wake up, it's like stains everywhere. So, this can happen. It's very, very involuntary. It's not even in our control. A lot of times, we're not aware about it. And see, okay, fine. Some
Exactly.
of the everybody has a different tendency of getting their menstrual cycle, right? Some people feel
Yeah.
actually a lot of pain. Some,
Hmm.
premenstrual syndrome. A lot of people have a different changes in their bodies, which actually indicate them, okay, they in few days they'll be having their period cycle. But if you take my example, my period is all the time very normal. I don't have anything related to it. It's like some feel
Yeah.
pain. It's like normal.
Hmm.
So it's actually a lot of time I get a lot of dhoka in this sense because I am not aware about it. So even if I'm in that public place, so
Yeah.
actually I have this habit of carrying a purse in which I have the pad all the time because it can happen anywhere and I have to be prepared every time. So this is the thing.
Okay. Oh, so you use
Okay.
pads. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So,
Okay.
okay, coming to this question, you must be like, you must have heard of across from your friends or other girls. We have this. We find it very cool, and I don't know, not in school in that sense, but girls actually tend to use a different sign language to denote periods, right? I am
Yeah,
down or something. I am not aware of about much of the slang that I use for periods. But do you think this is a right way to go for periods?
I definitely don't think that it is the right way to go, because, as I told you, like, what is the problem with periods? Yeah, so like, even in schools, like when we were in schools, when one of your friends gets her periods, so like basically, when you take the pad out of your bag to give it to her, you just hide it behind your skirt or like wrap it in something and then go and give it to her. Like, even if you don't like, girls you don't even feel comfortable buying a pad when some, some man or anybody else, even they feel conscious when there are women around while buying pads. So yeah, that is like something which is like very sad, because okay, it's fine, like you don't feel comfortable when men are around while buying a pad or something, but like what is the problem when even there are women around? So like there, I had a friend whose like mom used to ask her to buy pads for a mom. So she was saying that I feel very embarrassed because sometimes that man won't even like, give me a proper bag or something to carry that. So like I have to like always remember to carry a bag specifically which is not transparent to like, carry that pad back home, because like she had not got her period by that point and she was aware of everything. So her mom used to ask for her help, but she was there busy feeling like, ashamed of it and like very conscious about it, shy about it. So yeah, like girls are feeling this way even before they get their periods, and yeah, that is something which is very serious.
Definitely. Okay, so what do you think will be the difference if the guys are actually made aware about periods in the equal proportion as the girl is like required to be made aware about periods? What do you think will be the difference?
I think like periods will be more talked about, and it will be like, like a kind of a thing. It would be more normalized in a sense if boys are also taught, like I told you in the beginning, right, about the guidance class and stuff. So like I think boys should also attend these classes. So like things like that which you said, where they were making fun of the girl who got her
Exactly, yeah.
periods. So like that is something which can be tackled with the help of initiatives like these. And like periods would not come off as a crime or something like that, but like it would be more normalized, because like we can see how like everyone reacts to it in a very different manner. So yeah, so like I think that can be, that is something which can be tackled. And as I said, even I never thought about talking with a boy or a male member about my period. So like we can think about that if these things are collectively, held and done together.
Definitely, because see, it's not just about making them being aware about the female biology, it's actually about making them more sensitive about the female body, about the like women around them, in their families, in their friend circle, everywhere. See, making fun of this, and once there was this incident when I don't know how in like outside my class, whisper rapper, I don't know from where it just came flying from somewhere, maybe from the dustbin. It was just flying around the class, my class. Some of the boys went outside the class and picked that wrapper, and they were just in the group and they were just holding it and discussing something about it and like making weird comments and like giving a very very weird laughs about it, and they were basically khusur khusur about everything they were doing. So it was actually very sick to see that. है ना? So this is the problem कि
Yeah.
when the guys will be forced back to just stay away from menstrual, so these incidents will take place. They'll become more insensitive towards women. They will become more
Hmm.
insensitive towards these things. So yes, definitely they have to be
Definitely,
made aware
because
about it.
yeah, because that is something which they are not aware of. So like they sometimes feel curious about it, like what could it be exactly, or like that curiosity leads them to like doing terrible things like these. So I think we should like definitely try to change that with, like involving boys more in conversations around menstrual hygiene, or like menstrual awareness in general. Hygiene is a very far off thing. You need to create awareness first to like create awareness about the hygiene and stuff.
Definitely, that's a very good point that you've made. So next question is, have you ever missed your schools due to periods?
Yeah, I actually used to like come home when I got my periods. So even if I got my periods in school, I used to call my parents or guardian and like ask them to pick me up. Yeah, because like uh during your periods, like you really cannot stay in school because I don't think I'm in the right mental state, to attend school, and neither in a proper physical state to like, attend school during my periods. So like I used to like definitely take a day off, and without feeling guilt or anything about it, I used to go straight home when I got my periods.
Yeah, because see, this is actually India is facing a very, very big problem of this, girls' absenteeism and dropouts. Because for 4, 5, you used to take a day off, right? There are a lot of
Yeah.
women in the country which actually don't go to school for like 4, 5 days in a month just due to their periods. So this is the basic motive of Project Vedna to actually decrease this percentage of dropout rates. See, that's why we are actually encouraging girls to use sanitary napkins because see, everybody has a different tendency of coping the menstrual cycle, right? I want to know about your reason for missing the school, but there are a lot of women who actually miss school due to lack of availability of sanitary napkins, right?
Hmm.
They don't have that kind of
Even
problem of, okay, yeah,
yeah,
sure.
even girls miss their school because like they have to sit isolated at home. So like they cannot touch anything, they cannot touch their uniform, they cannot touch their school bag and all. I've seen girls like these who miss period due to like their this isolation thing which they have to follow. So like I think if you're taking days off because you have pain, then that is totally fine. But like if you're taking your days off from your school because you're not experiencing any pain, but like it's due to some family restriction or you're following some tradition or something like that, so like that is something which should not happen. Like even like dropout rates is a very serious problem, but even like being absent for 5 days straight from your school is like a very serious issue.
Yes, definitely. That is the reason because I can't even imagine how a girl or a woman who uses a cloth. You must have also heard about it. A lot of women actually use cloth or something other than anything other than sanitary napkins. They
Yeah.
because see this is and for the okay first the thing ki most of the women do it because of the lack of availability or the lack of
Hmm.
affordability. Okay, they can't do it.
Yeah.
Second, even if you see, I am actually I have encountered a lot of women who are belong to a very well off families. They can buy it everything, but they don't buy it. Why? Because they have been taught like this, they have been brought like this, and they think that spending even a single penny on sanitary napkins is actually a waste of money. Why to waste money on buying a sanitary napkin when you can actually have a good kapada to use it? And I'm actually scared
Hmm.
about how do these people actually tend to walk around because you must have seen a lot of girls they actually miss. I am telling you, one of my friends her mother used to force her to use cloth only because she used to think कि नहीं नहीं हमें पैसे नहीं बर्बाद करने हैं. I have used a cloth and I have see मैं इतनी बड़ी हो गई और मुझे कोई problem नहीं हुई, so you should also use the cloth only. She used to come to school and she used to be all the time conscious about it कि मैं whenever I'll walk maybe the clothes can just drop out from between her legs, right? Anything can happen.
Yeah,
So this is the problem.
clothes are like very risky. Like I also have like used like I used it for different reasons. Like when I was home and stuff, I never pulled a stunt of using it outside. But still, like they are very risky, and the the chances of getting a stain are very high when you wear a cloth. And the thing is, free movement is totally blocked when you use a proper like cloth for your periods. So yeah.
And a lot of health complications are also there because you get rashes, you get infections because you have to like a lot of
Hmm.
women and you just forget about discarding it. A lot of women actually use that cloth again and again by washing it. They say कि, okay,
Yes,
we are
definitely.
using using it this time, then we'll wash it again, then we'll use it again. So a lot
Hmm.
of women are actually facing a lot of serious health complications due to this practice only.
Yeah, actually, the thing is, cloths can be used in a good way, like, and they are eco-friendly and stuff. But like the people who are guiding you about using these cloths are like basically uneducated and unaware themselves. So they don't properly tell you to, like change it from time to time. Like you should change it after I think some 4 or 5 hours if you use cloth. So like that is healthy for your body. But The people who are telling you these things, they are not telling you, they're just telling you to use cloth to save money. That is something which is not good. But if you're using cloth in a proper way, like that is, very environment friendly, because pads do cause a lot of pollution. So I think something which is the best alternative to cloth and, sanitary napkins is menstrual cups. So yeah,
Definitely,
I
yeah.
myself do use a menstrual cup, and like it is a blessing. It is definitely a blessing. Like it is very, first of all, it's comfortable. Then you don't have to buy it again and again, which makes it like, cost effective and stuff. Like there would be no barriers for girls who are not able to afford it. Then it's environment friendly, and it also saves you a lot of time. You don't have to change it again and again. So menstrual cups are really good. So like I would recommend every one of us who is watching us, or like everyone in general, I do recommend menstrual cups in general to every single girl.
Yes, because I think they're friendly also. Because see, a lot of
Hmm.
there are many drawbacks when it comes to like using a cloth. Sanitary napkins have their own like drawbacks. Definitely,
Yeah.
environment is the most prominent one. They do cause pollution to the environment, and clothes actually cause a lot of health problems to a woman. So I think menstrual cups will be the next alternative which have to be
But
promoted like
like,
on
yeah, but
on
like
the
there
way.
is still this, still this thing surrounding menstrual cups. Like girls are scared to insert something in their body. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is like, yeah, I would like to like give a testimonial that it is not scary at all, first of all. But like even if you're doing it, like even if you're trying it out, please don't be scared, because it is like not as serious as you guys might think. It is actually very easy and very convenient to use a menstrual cup. So actually, there is a story around this, like why I like started using a menstrual cup. So I
So
was
please,
working with
please
an,
share.
yeah, I was working with an organization, Teach for Green. So like I had to write a blog. So like I
Hmm.
decided to write about environment, obviously something related to environment. I was searching for topics. So then I saw this thing where, eco-friendly periods and stuff. And I like wrote in that, like, let us have a sustainable period. And then I questioned, am I having a sustainable period myself? So actually I was not, because I was like using sanitary napkins, like which cause a lot of pollution. So from that day onwards, I decided that I would never buy a pad again, like never ever. And after that, I started using menstrual cups and never bought a pad again.
Oh, that's really good. That's very good. And since you want to work towards sustainable development goals, and environment
Yeah.
is the most important factor there. So definitely, you're the one who will be taking this initiative. Okay, so I want to talk about how do the male members behave with the women in their families when it comes to like the period cycles. For example, how sensitive is your father? Like when your mother a housewife or a working woman?
Yeah, so my mother is basically a housewife. So,
Okay,
yeah.
so
So,
so
like,
when
my
it comes,
father, yeah, yeah. My father
okay,
is most of the times even not aware that she's on her periods, I think. And not even aware that, like, even when we are on our periods, I don't think he's aware of that. I've never, like, heard from him that, oh, are you on your periods? I think he knows it, but he never likes to talk about it. So, yeah, I told you, I've never really had a talk with my father around this. So, yeah.
okay, and I think after this conversation, maybe you and your mother will be discussing it. Okay, should
Yeah.
we tell our father about it?
Well,
How much is he aware about menstruation? Because see, I have myself witnessed this. Ki, okay, for example, a housewife who has to do all her domestic chores, right? A lot of works in the family. So when see if a woman who has a body which actually experiences some sort of difficulty or some sort of pain or maybe severe pain, a lot of women actually experience severe pain when they're on their menstrual cycles and they just want to take a rest. See, like
hmm,
school, you were
right.
in your school, so like you went to you take the day off and you went back. So mothers also maybe they are experiencing some problem and they want to take a like day off kind of from the domestic chores
Hmm,
and they just want to like take rest. They don't want to work. So then you can see your mother will be telling you the behavior of the male members towards them actually change. You will say a
Hmm.
lot of derogatory words कि अरे ये तो बहाना है काम ना करने का, क्या problem है इसमें, who will do the work, how will the things will be completed. So this all comes under the insensitivity when they're actually not aware about it, right? So have
Yeah.
you like witnessed anything like this?
I have not actually, not even in my neighborhood or something like that. Because the thing is that whenever you get your periods, basically a woman covers up for other women. You know, like even if you're facing pain, your mother will cover up for you. And even if your mother is facing some kind of pain or some kind of difficulty, you are covering up your mother. But you don't like think of approaching, male members of the family all the time. So like that is how it has been going on for generations, I guess. Like women are covering up for women and like not at all involving men in these things. So that is something which is basically creating barriers in awareness creation for men regarding menstrual stuff. So that is one of the reasons why they get curious and do things like these, like as you said, that
Okay,
teasing and stuff like that, or like engage in conversations which are like not very good. So yeah.
definitely, because see, first, for the first problem is first कि उनको बताया ही नहीं जाता है, they are not
Hmm.
made aware of it. Second, even if चलो ठीक है उनको बता दिया कि okay, see, I am having my periods and I have this problem, I have cramps or something, I want to take a day off, I can't do all the works, you have to manage. Then also they'll say a lot of problems are there कि okay, no, ये तो नहीं, this is not the done, you're just making a
Hmm.
bahana out of something and you're not doing it, right? And these are the problems which are actually there in our society, and it all comes this major problem of not incorporating the each and every gender into educating about menstruation. This is
Right,
all
right.
there, and yeah, and you must also have experiences कि if say, a lot of mothers are there, even if you go to them and complain कि okay मुझे problem हो रही है, I can't do this, I can do that, they'll always tell you कि नहीं, तो कोई दर्द वर्द नहीं हो रहा है, just go and do it, go and do that, ये इस तरीके से, because see, I have also done this, I have always been so, you know, what do we say, bahadur and something, and you cannot just complain about
Hmm.
this and that. So these are also things ki you just don't want to normalize it at all. Okay, fine, I am having a biological thing in my body, and period cramps or pain is also actually normal. It's not like that ki okay, you have to make the girl do everything, every other thing, and you just, there are
Hmm.
only restrictions on the part of कि ठीक है आप ये you cannot touch the mandir, you cannot touch the prasad, you cannot touch this particular item. But when it comes to taking a rest for like few hours and not doing any like excessive thing, then you say कि okay, nothing is wrong with you. Then you say
Yeah,
कि नहीं
definitely. Because I have seen women around me, like, so like I told you about the isolation things, they are very strict about these things, not touching anything. So, like, they have created rules in such a fashion that everything is convenient for them. So, like, for the first 2 days, you don't touch anything, you don't do anything. And then for the second and third day, you just like wash your hair and stuff, and then you can start cooking, but you cannot touch the holy things for
yeah,
next 3 days. And then
yeah,
for fifth day, you can so like for second and third day, you don't go near the temple, like the room in which your ghar ka mandir is there. And then you can, on the fifth day, you can go in that mandir, but just cannot touch that mandir. And after fifth day, you again wash your hair and you can touch everything and stuff. So yeah, these rules are really funny because like uh, pehle what we had is joint families, na. So like women used to cover up for women, but like now that is not the case. So like there is only one woman in the family. So like definitely she's going to face problems. So like these new rules kind of a thing have came up recently. And I have seen like many of my neighbors practice this actually. So yeah.
definitely, definitely.
Hmm.
So Ria, this will be my last question to you for this session.
Okay. Yeah.
How important do you think the involvement of parents is when it comes to awareing the child about menstruation in the very initial years of her teenage? Both
Yeah.
the parents,
I
mother and father.
Yeah. Not just in the initial years, the role is huge in like aage chal ke bhi it is very huge. Because I told you, like, my mother stopped this thing in our family. So even if I go to my nanny's house, my nanny has still made me sit in isolation once when I was at her place. So I think mother's role is very, very, very crucial here. And also, like you were talking about, like, many of them are saying that you should do household chores in your periods. There is nothing wrong with that. What is wrong with that? So like my mother never, never ever asked me to do any household chores or something like that during my periods. So mother's role is important in creating awareness, in uh, giving us proper rest and convenience during our periods. And I think father's role is something which is very much ignored even in my family, but I think that is something which we should like definitely focus on in future. And I think my mother has eliminated this isolation things from our family. I'll definitely try to eliminate gender norms when I will be a mother myself. I'll definitely give it a try.
So wonderful, Ria. It has been so nice to have you with us today, and I really want to thank you on behalf of our organization that you came and you took out your time and just helped us to make this session wonderful. Thank you so much, and we'll
Yeah.
love to host you again. So let us know whenever you are available next time.
Sure.
Okay.
This session, I enjoyed this session very much, and like I definitely like to work with Project Vedna in future, because like I'm very impressed with your guys' work. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. We'll love to have you on board our team. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.